The reason I'm here is I showed this slip stitch pattern a little while ago in a really short video, 60-second video, and somebody asked me if I could show it in more detail. So I thought I'd do a demo to show that. But this actually is part of a PDF that I have to make a scarf of actually 5 different slip stitch patterns. So we have this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, all available in a PDF with a scarf pattern. So if you're interested in that, it should be in the description of the post. But for today, we're just going to look at this one. We're going to look at how you create these slip stitches. Now, these are some of the easiest ways of creating colour work, okay? And this particular example, you need a multiple of 4 stitches plus 3. And those who like charts, there's a chart representation here. So this is taken from that PDF that you can download. So there's a chart there, but there's also written instructions if you prefer working from written instructions. Okay, so I've started off a little sample, and I'm going to be working this example using a purple and a sort of grey. Okay, so I've just done a few rows in garter stitch to start with. And because this is a multiple of 4 plus 3, if you're not used to charts, let me just show this to you. This first row is a setup row. That's this row, these rows in effect I've done here in purple. So then right side rows work from right to left, and anything in the red square is repeated. So we're going to work those 4 stitches repeated until we reach the last 3, and then we work those 3. Coming back on a wrong side row, we're going to work those 3 stitches and then repeat these 4 to the end. Now the V stitch is where you slip a stitch, and you just keep the yarn in the back of the work as you're going. So let me get going with this then. So row 1, and again, as I say, I've got it all written out as well here. You knit 3 and then you slip 1. And when you slip these stitches, you slip them purlwise. So this is my new colour I'm bringing in here. So I've done my setup row in the purple. Now, what this green here is represented by my grey. Not very good, but never mind. So I'm going to work the first 3 stitches in my grey, and they're just knit stitches. So knit 1, just tighten up that beginning a little bit there and get rid of my tail. Knit 2, knit 3. Okay, and then it's the V, and the V is a slip stitch. So all you do is slip the next stitch purlwise so that you don't twist it at all, just slip it. Okay, and then the yarn is at the back and you just carry on knitting. So we're repeating those 4 stitches again. So knit 1, 2, 3, and slip the next one. Repeat 1, 2, 3, and slip the next stitch. And then I've reached now my last 3 stitches, which are just 3 knit stitches in my cream. So I've got 15 stitches on here, which gives me a multiple of 3 repeats plus the 3 stitches at the end for balance. So that's the first row. Now we're going to do row 2. You basically do the same but using purl, because I'm doing this in stocking stitch. So we purl our first 3 stitches with our new colour. Purl 1, purl 2, purl 3. And then we slip this stitch, this purple stitch here. The yarn stays, this is the back of the work, so it stays there. And then we carry on with our repeat of purl 1, purl 2, purl 3, slip the next one, purl 1, 2, 3, slip the next one, and purl the last 3. So we've done the first 2 rows now. Okay, and we're actually going to work 4 rows in each colour. So because I'm not going to cut my purple, I'm actually going to carry it up the side. So at this stage, because I've done 2 of my grey rows, I'm just going to pop that over there just to pull this purple up a little bit, ready for when we need it in the next set of rows. So it's just hanging about there. So we're now on row 3, which is basically the same as row 1. So we are going to knit 1, 2, 3 and slip the next stitch. Knit 1, 2, 3. So this purple gets slipped all the way up the front of quite a few rows. Okay, so that's 3 rows worked. Now the 4th row is just a complete row in the grey, okay, including the stitches that we slipped before. So just purl all the way along, including those slip stitches. They do have a tendency to hide behind the other stitches, so make sure you don't miss them. See what I mean? It's hiding behind that grey there. So do the purple one there. Okay, and now we're going to swap back to our purple. In our chart, that's represented by these cream, and we're going to just basically swap everything around. You can start to see that the purple has been carried up there in front of the grey. I actually quite like these 2 colours together. I think they're quite neat. So now let's swap over again. I just like to just take those yarns and twist them at the end so we don't end up with lots of loose yarns. So now I'm actually on row 5. So with our purple, we're going to do the repeat of knit 3 and slip 1 to the last 3 stitches. Knit, whoops, sorry, knit 1, 2, 3, slip the next one, which was the slip stitch from before. Okay, so it's quite clear which one it should be. So in slip stitch knitting, you do 2 rows in each colour, which means you can carry the other yarn up the side. You don't need to cut your yarns after any particular rows, and you don't have to carry your yarns across the work either. That's why I love it so much. I think it's a really neat way of creating colourful things without having to worry about carrying yarns all over the place. So we're now on row 6. So we purl 3 and then we get into our repeat, which is slip 1, purl 3, slip 1, purl 3, slip 1 and purl the last 3. Okay, so we're now on the next stage and it's starting to carry the grey up the front. So again, once more, I'm going to twist my yarns now. So I do that by actually moving them so that I don't end up with lots of yarn tails hanging around. Okay, so we're back, we're still on our purl, we're on row 7. So this is the last one with a slip stitch in it. So knit 1, 2, 3 and slip 1, another 3, slip 1, another 3, slip 1 and the last 3, and then the last row of the repeat is row 8, and that's just a whole row in the purple, purling all the way. Including those slipped stitches. So there's one trying to hide. Pick that one up and purl it. Okay, so that's one whole repeat of the pattern, with the purple being carried up over the top of the grey and the grey being carried up over the top of the purple. So you just carry on like that all the way as far as you want, and I think it's a really neat pattern. This was my original. This was done in a different type of yarn. I can't actually remember what that was called. This is some Rowan felted tweed, which gives that extra little loveliness to everything. So there you go, that's the dotted stripes. And don't forget, if you're interested in the slip stitch pattern, which includes 4 other slip stitch patterns in there, then that's available from the link in the description. Thanks very much, everyone.